Good evening. Hello, everyone. It's just me tonight. Nobody here but me. Chris is somewhere doing something, not with me. She's out. So it's just me. I wanted to come on and hello, Laura Brown. Say hello to everyone. Barbara. Hello, Barbara. How are you? Nancy, Carmen, Sheila, Vicky, Bonnie. Hello, everyone. Friday night, huh? We all must be partying, right? That's why we're all on the computer. No, we're not. So I'm here. Chris is out. It's just me. Hey, Deb, how you doing? I wanted to come on. Nancy, Jen, how are you? And just the invisible Chris. I was gonna bring Timmy out here, but I decided not to do. Kara, welcome. Kara's new. Madam Adams fans. Monica, Nicole Knight, how are you? Happy you're on. Luann, hello, Luann, how are you? So, anyway, tonight's not going to be anything in particular. Just going to talk about the investigation we did. Hello, Darlene. Hey, Russ. Going to talk about the investigation we did on Wednesday night. Just want to say hello to everybody. Linda, Steve, hello. At the Caldwell Parsonage in Union, New Jersey. We told the story, dates back to the 1800s. Hannah Caldwell was killed by the British soldiers in front of her children, dragged her body outside, looted the house, burned the building down. Her husband, hey Linda, her husband, Bonnie, her husband, James, died a year later under suspicious circumstances. So that house is the last place really that the family was together and they were happy, with the kids and the parents and everything. And then tragedy struck and they lost both parents within a year to horrible circumstances. Again, this was during the Revolutionary War time. And, people believe that, a tragedy like that and memories and the family emotions, would leave a stain on the land itself, even if the house was burnt down, which it was. It was built in the same exact place. And, again, the land is still there. So, all of those emotions, the family, the stain of what happened on that property where the family lost their mother, the wife, it lingers, man. And it's there. And we tried our best, me, Tanya, and Chris, to kind of cover as much as we could in a couple of hours with the Wi-Fi issues we were having. Again, never had those Wi-Fi issues before in that building, which was really strange on top of everything else that was happening. Every time we started to get something going, especially downstairs where Hannah was shot and killed, the Wi-Fi would not stay in that room for nothing. We tried over and over again. The sound would cut out. The video would freeze. It would just cut out entirely. And that was mainly in the room where she was shot. We were literally several feet away from where her body was laying in front of her children. And the British soldiers dragged her out of there. So that was what was really bizarre about that in that room and the things that were going on there. We were having so many problems with things being drained and issues with the equipment not working right. Again, none of that's really happened there before. I investigated that building alone. You can go watch the video from years ago. And I went top to bottom by myself, live the whole entire time. And I wasn't interrupted one time on my live feed. And I went top to bottom by myself. And I had some really wild experiences that night by myself. So we wanted to do more downstairs because that's where Hannah was shot and killed. And that's where, this whole tragedy started for the family. That's the building right there. It's not a really, really big building. It's got 2 floors and a basement. There's also an adjoining shed that the family used that has, right now, it's a tool museum. That has some activity going on in it as well. So we used that building during our event. And I don't have the dates, I should, but that event is coming up in October. And it's very limited, that event, because it is such a small house. And I think it's mostly sold out. There may be 5-6 spots left. But again, the process for buying tickets to that event is different than others. There's a number that you have to call. Barbara Lamort is one of the directors. You have to call her and arrange to pay for the tickets through her. So go on NewJerseyParanormal.com, check out the entire event list. And if you want to come to that one in that building, call that number. But we went upstairs, and never before has something claimed to be a poltergeist. That was different. Now, for those of you who don't know and aren't familiar with the equipment, that little box there that you heard the voice from is called the Ovilus. Now, the Ovilus was programmed with 2,000 words in it. And each word correlates with a measurement of energy or temperature. But there's 2,000 words. Any word could have come out of that thing, upstairs, downstairs, whatever. And I've gotten some good words before in that building. I've gotten British. I've gotten caught fire. They burned the house down. I've gotten Reverend twice, and I got James twice. This time, the only word in that area, in that building, on the second floor, was poltergeist. What are the odds? 1 of 2,000 that word would come out. And that started, hey, David, hey, Marie, that word started the chain of reaction of action. It was, we hit on that one particular room, that one particular hallway, and whatever was in that room, in that chair, really wanted to make its presence known, but not in a good way. I think either it was trying to just scare us out of there, which it never has done before. Whatever we dealt with in that building on different levels has always been what we thought was related to the family in some respect. We always thought that we were communicating with either the Reverend James Caldwell, Hannah, one of the children, or the Reverend James Street, who was there for many years after James Caldwell, after they rebuilt the house. This time, whatever was there, proclaimed itself to be a poltergeist. Knowing that word is weird enough for a spirit to sit there and say, this is what I label myself as. I think I'm one of these. That kind of, again, made our attention kind of, got us to attention. And then the things that it was doing weren't poltergeist type things. Nothing was moving. We did hear some sounds, some banging noises or knocking, but nothing was moving. Nothing had shifted. The furniture didn't move. There was no sounds that would represent a poltergeist. Poltergeists are angry spirits. They move things. They're physical. They have the ability, more energy than others, that could actually harm you, touch you, scratch you, throw a hammer across a room or a knife. Those are those type of spirits. So I'm thinking that they rearranged that museum, and there are several new pieces in the glass cases up in the storage area where people aren't allowed to go, where most of the activity is, and in a few of the other cases downstairs where in the Hannah room, we saw some new things in there. I'm thinking they brought something in. That's what I think. I think whatever we connected with up there, the normal family members, I think we were kind of interacting a little bit with one of them downstairs in the room where Hannah was shot. But once we got upstairs, I think that was somebody completely different, someone who we never met before or interacted with before. And very interesting when that happens, because we literally have been going there for, I want to say 9 years, maybe, and maybe 10. I don't even know. But we go there at least twice a year, more so in the beginning when we first started working with them. But this is the first time we encountered whoever that was. And that was really, really interesting, because when I did my investigation alone on that floor, everything was about Hannah. On the Echovox, somebody said she was shot. I got a lot of interaction with female voices. But this person, I'm curious to go back in there again now, because that's the person now I want to figure out, who are you? Where'd you come from? How'd you get in here? Because you weren't here before. And all the years we've been there, that person wasn't there before. Nobody ever referred to themselves as a poltergeist and would do those kind of things that were really trying to, I think, scare us out. Every time Chris walked into the room, the REM pod, that's what that circle thing is with the antenna and all the lights. Every time Chris stepped into the room or I had my back turned, it would go off. And you saw where we put it. We put it in a chair in the middle of a room. And that device, that antenna emits EMF, energy. And for it to go off, something has to get really close to that antenna and stay there and kind of take the energy or touch that antenna for it to make those noises. That's what you were saying. I would demonstrate how close I could get without making it go off because I wanted to show you guys something's touching it. Something's near it. That's why things are happening. And whoever it was purposely doing that, along with talking on the spirit box and all that other stuff. Kara says, how do you guys stay so brave and safe from really trying not to be afraid of them? For the most part, we've seen a lot, we've done a lot, and you're kind of in a mindset of, it's not really a fear mindset. It's more of your curiosity's peaked, all your senses are up, and you're just now kind of interacting with the environment and whoever is in there that you can't see and you can't hear. So yeah, you're on edge, but you're not afraid unless something really bad happens. That's most of us. My partner, who is usually right here, she still gets a little jumpy from time to time, and she showed that with the headphones on and the blindfold. And we laugh because we're not kind of mocking her or make fun of her. It's just funny when that happens because we tell her all the time, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go in that room. You don't have to put the blindfold on. If you don't want to, don't do it. Tanya and I are capable of handling all the crazy, dangerous, whatever stuff that needs to be done. But she wants to. And then she does. And that happens. So it's kind of like, I told you so. When we laugh at her, like, you know better. You don't want to interact with this stuff on that level. Don't put your foot in the bear trap, So that kind of explains that. But you feel them. You do feel them. And I've learned as I've been doing this longer and longer, I think that frequency, that antenna in me has gotten a little more in tune to what's around me. And I purposely now, the very first thing I do, hey, Anna, when I go into places like the Creeper Gallery or even to a new building, first thing I do is, and it's funny because I watched Ghost Adventures and Zach was kind of talking about something similar in this last episode. The very first thing I do is, what is my mind and my body feeling when I first enter a space? How am I reacting in that way? Like, what are the thoughts that are entering my head? Because that's a lot that I've learned from these mediums and stuff is that, the way spirits would normally communicate if they could is telepathy, thoughts, images. That's how they communicate with mediums. That's what mediums see. So that's what I kind of open myself up for first. Okay, I'm in the space. What am I feeling? What am I hearing? What am I, what am I thinking? Like, where's my brain going? So I do that first. And there are times where I am in a room and right away, whoa, this is different. This is definitely different. Let's see. And it's with objects too. You just, you get it. You feel it. What do you focus on? How do you focus on what's coming in when you blindfold it? That's something that you get used to. The more you do it, Echovox is the same way. It's a radio. That's what the spirit box is. It's a radio that's really sweeping AM, FM, up and down the dial, up and down the dial, up and down the dial. And you control the speed at which it does that. You do hear a lot of radio stuff. There's a lot of stuff that comes through that you don't know. The purpose of the blindfold is to just be the conduit, open yourself up, deny yourself of your senses, be in addition to the spirit box. Now your spirit box plus the person and the energy and allowing them to come in. So whatever you're hearing, you spit out. whether it makes sense to you or not. You just go, go, go. And you don't know what's being asked over on the other side. But I'll tell you what, a lot of times what's weird about it is there's more times where it syncs up with the blindfold than it does with just the spirit box being out in the open in front of people. I don't know why, I don't know how, but again, it's like almost like adding a second antenna to the radio. You know what I mean? Like, because you're using the person now and allowing them to open up and let the spirit use their energy in a sense, you're adding an extra antenna and giving it a bigger boost, I think. And it works. I know it works. I've seen it many times. I've heard it many times. And they'll say stuff to you in your ear sometimes that aren't relevant to the questions. I've heard people get threatened when they had the headphones on. Whoever it was talking directly to them and saying not so nice things. And they, whoop, headphones come off. And I get it, because I tell, when we're doing that session, I tell the spirits, say whatever you want to that person. They're listening. This is their name. You talk to them. They're letting you use them as a vessel. Go ahead. And man, oh man, I've heard some stuff come out of there that's not so good, you know. So that building, after all these years and doing it many, many times, has me more intrigued now than it has in a long time. Because again, it's like everything is new all of a sudden with whatever it is that they brought in. I have no idea who it is and why they said what they said and why they reacted the way they did. We haven't been there in a year. We did a live stream there last year around Halloween time, October, and whoever this wasn't there. We know that for a fact because we went top to bottom that night and we were interacting with, again, the members of the Caldwell family and probably the Reverend James Street. Whoever this wasn't there then. So I need to talk to them and really try to figure out what objects have come in there in the last year and try to pinpoint which one of those suckers is doing whatever that was. So really, really cool. Again, you could go into the same building many, many times and think you know and you don't know. Burlington Prison, another example of that. Hey, Amanda. Burlington Prison, we had dinner with Janet and Brenda, who are the people that volunteer for the Historic Society that were there at the open house. Great people, nicest people in the world. They took us out to dinner to show their appreciation for the open house. 200 people came. Thank you all. If you came, thank you so much. I know it was hot, and we appreciate everybody who came out because they were really impressed that 200 people made it there on July 17th when it was 90 whatever degrees outside. So thank you if you came. They showed their appreciation to us because of the money they raised for the prison and the attention they got. And we were talking, and they were saying they continuously are doing research. They said that they uncovered a 15-year-old boy who died in the prison, another man who died under suspicious circumstances. They think he was murdered. And, again, more and more and more and more. So in a place like that, man, you have no clue who you're going to interact with at any given moment. That's a fact. I'm just trying to read the questions. We did a great job of keeping cool with the fans. Wish I could have gone there. In a building like that, with that many people in 100-year existence, with all those prisoners in and out, dying, getting hanged in the back, you have no idea on what particular night what spirits are going to interact with you. That, again, is a fact. And I love that because that's what you're talking about. Can't remember your name, but you're one of the new people that said you follow Madam Adam. That's what I'm talking about. When you go in there and you turn those lights off and you're, with so many people and all of these prisoners are there and God knows how many of them are still there trapped because a lot of people believe, here's the deal. You do this long enough, you take in so many little tidbits. Okay, Kara, I see you. Sorry about that. Need some caffeine. You take in so many little tidbits and you put them in your little toolbox, up here as an investigator, as a researcher. And one of the things that really kind of struck me as we're doing this, is that, the idea of if there is some kind of revision of your life when it's all done. I don't want to say a judgment because I don't know if it's a judgment, but if there's some kind of review of your life, hey Laura, when this is all done, right? And whatever happens after that, I don't know if you're judged or wherever you go or wherever you don't go, but everyone that I've talked to that has died and come back, or any book or video, YouTube interview that I've read, they all say there is some kind of review where you see your life and someone's kind of watching you watch the review. Now, let's say that your soul, subconscious, conscious, whatever, let's say it's just aware of that. And you're afraid that whatever that is, because you've killed someone, you've hurt someone, you've been a horrible human. Let's say you don't even want a chance going through that thing. You're going to stay right here. If there is a light, if there is someone who says, hey, come for the review, you're going to be like, no, I'm good. I don't want to. I'm right here. That's where I'm going to be. Okay. Prison would be full of those type of people, right? And then the other theory is, again, something else that I put in my kind of toolbox after years of speaking to mediums and investigators and everything else. A lot of people believe that if they're not there already, you going in that space and talking and with your equipment and blah, 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 you can channel them right in. If this was Mr. Henry's prison cell before he was shanked, or before he went out and was hanged, or he got sick from pneumonia and died there, he may still be around, or maybe he's not around, but you're in there talking about what happened to him and his last days. People believe you can channel him right in there at that spot, at that moment, by calling to that memory, calling to that person. I believe all that now. I really do, because I've seen so much of it to really, really believe that that's entirely possible. I really do. And, you go into these buildings, you handle these objects. Who was I talking to that, was basically saying the same thing, that, using spirit box, using, any kind of piece of equipment and talking out loud is no different than a Ouija board. It's the same thing. You're open up a channel to the spirit world voluntarily. You're boom, here it is. I'm here. I'm talking. Come on, interact with me. Talk with me. This is what you're doing when you go out and do this. Do you think that's always a choice, or can a spirit be trapped because of how they die? I think it's a little of both, Lorraine. I think that in some cases, oh, here comes the wanderer. In some cases, a spirit can be trapped because of the circumstances under which they died. Maybe there is some confusion there, murder, battlefield, accident, car accident, or another kind of accident. The mine is a perfect example of that. If these people are working in a mine and all of a sudden explosion and they instantly gone, there is a chance that the confused spirit consciousness could remain there and be, not cross over. I guess anything is possible. You posted that you got scratched at the Creeper Gallery last week before you started filming. Nancy, I think I did tell that story. There was this one particular object. I won't mention what it is because we didn't film it on purpose. I know the object's already sold, but we were told to investigate this object. I didn't really want to, not for any particular reason, because I thought it was a throwaway. It was a stuffed animal of some kind. That's what I'll say. And I looked at it and I was like, no. And Donna kept saying, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. Someone's interested in buying it. I need to know what to tell them if there's anything, malicious attached to that. So Chris and I, just want to get her coffee. She's here. She's behind me. Chris and I went in there. I said, Chris, we're not taping this. We're going to put some cap bolts on it. We're going to put some meters around it. we're going to do an EVP session, 10 minutes, and then we're done with this thing. EVP session, 3 EVPs right off the bat. And I'm like, what do you know? And then I felt the burning. I looked down at my arm, and from there to there, just red welt with scratch marks. Never know. Even the stuffed, can't even trust stuffed animals anymore. That's what that damn Annabelle doll is, a raggedy, and you never know. But that's the way it is when it comes to doing this. Yeah, the channeling. The channeling is very, very possible, Kara. Very possible. But I wanted to go through and talk about some of the events that are coming up. The tickets are selling. There's, like 5, 6 left for most of them. The Barron Arts Center is completely done. But I wanted to show you guys a picture of the buildings and show you and talk a little about them, if you guys don't mind. I showed you the Caldwell Parsonage. This building here, I wish I could pull it up on my tablet, but I can't. That building is attached to that building. That's a huge, huge mansion. Liberty Hall Museum is a beautiful, you're right, Kara, beautiful, huge mansion that was owned by the Kane family in New Jersey for generations. There's my special guest for the evening. Well, any minute now.
Howdy.
Look who's here. Finally.
Finally.
She was out with her other boyfriend. She had a date. So that's Liberty Hall. Liberty Hall is the big mansion, the yellow mansion. The other building is the carriage house that's kind of adjacent to Liberty Hall. That building is where the horse were kept, the carriage, and the people that worked there slept on the top part. Now, we've been in there summertime. Kenny, me, Tanya, Chris. It is hot as hell up there.
Hellacious.
And those poor workers, this is just how it was back then. I'm not saying that anybody, whatever, abused anybody or whatever, but, the workers, that's where they lived. They had a place to stay. They got their meals, but that's where they stayed, above the horses. But Liberty Hall Museum is a place where there are layers of activity. And people talk about, this is really interesting too. It's a subject we should kind of talk about now that you're here. And I'll ask your thoughts on it before we get started with this. What are your thoughts on spirits from multi-generations? Do you think if they exist within a building, are they aware that the others are there, and do they communicate with them? I'll drink my tea while you get to that.
I would like to think that once you're a spirit, no matter what time frame you're from, that you can communicate. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, I mean, I know that people do think that there and that there's not, but I don't see why there would be rules or regulations or where you can only stay in your time frame. Your era. That would mean that if you lived in 1960 and you died, well, how would that work?
I don't believe that either. I believe they can. I believe they do see each other. I believe they do communicate with each other if they occupy the same
I think so
area.
Too.
And I think that's why, specifically, Liberty Hall Museum, one of the claims prior to us coming in there and investigating was that they would kind of approach the door and open the door to the mansion, and they would hear people talking from different rooms to each other. And then they would walk in and nothing. And again, that's a sign that here's some intelligence. They're there, they're aware of each other, and they're talking. And I think that building in particular, because of how old the building is and how many of the family members occupied that building, 4 generations. Yeah. 4 generations. Yeah. That's a lot of family.
And it's a time capsule of that building, because each part of the house you go to, you literally walk through the different time periods from that household. It's amazing. But that's another thing too, when you talk about that, if it's layered and if they can see each other. I do believe, just like in human form, where we can be oblivious to things because we choose to be, or we've got blocks on and we're not looking. I think that they can be oblivious to
Yeah.
each other if they're
Right.
as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, depending on the people that they were and
yeah.
what their beliefs are
Yes.
and all that
Yes.
crap. Yeah, I agree. But again, that building, somebody brought up a good catch that we made, and I like when people do that, because you can tell the people that have been following us for a while and the people that really follow us religiously. The SLS camera, you guys probably all know what that is. If you don't, it's that camera they use on TV where you see stick figures, like they'll be going through a room and you see everything kind of looks like some pixelated weird, thing, and then you see a stick figure pop up. Now that uses 3D mapping and all other kinds of software to, again, it was created for a video game that captures motion. So we mapped for the first time in the stables. Usually it's a stick figure, like a person.
Yeah.
This time we mapped something that was long and it had legs kind of, like this. And we're looking at it, we're like, boy, that stick figure is that guy's laying down and look how big he is. And we're like watching it, looking at it, we're like, holy crap, that's not a stick figure. It's an outline of a horse. We saw the head, we saw the legs, and it was bigger than a person. And we've never, ever mapped an animal, or think we have. And that thing was a horse. And it was so cool because then right next to it, a little tiny stick figure of a person, like a, stable hand or somebody, was standing next to it, kind of peeking out and hiding. And it was really, really cool. Really cool. So that's a building I do recommend that you come out to do an event at, if you haven't, or if you have, come out and do another one, because there's a lot of space. We go to the carriage house, we go up and down in the mansion. And like Chris said, one of the things that makes it so much cooler is that every piece of the furniture in there, and dishes and everything and table settings, was owned by one of the members of that family.
Everything in the house. Nothing is fabricated. Piece. Nothing is brought in for the time period. Every single item in that home was owned by one generation of that family. Even the toys, the toy house that they have, that they had in the doll, everything you can think of that's in there. Their paintings are all there. And it's really cool because you literally walk through each section of the home that has been added on, and it has that time period. It's amazing. They all said that the original was a hoarder. It's so funny that they call it hoarding, but yet look at the value and look what's in that place. Right. It's one of the few museums that have the original pieces.
Yeah.
From
Karen, I would have never. Animal spirits are a tough one for me. I know people said that they feel their animal, their dog or cat, like on the bed next to them and all that.
I've had that.
And I believe it. I'm not saying I don't believe it. It's a tough one for me because I've never really had that experience.
Yeah, John's got to experience it to believe in it.
But the that horse was definitely...
Here's the funny part. Kenny and John are looking at the SLS and are like, what the heck is this? And I come up behind him and I go, that looks like a horse. And I was like, both of them were like, holy crap, it looks like you're right. And it made sense because he was mapping the inside of the stall with the horse in it. And it was just like, it's something we haven't come across again. And another time we actually got on, I think when you did it over at the William Robertson's, we actually got a cat on under the table. Yeah. At the William Robinson's in Clark. And again, why can't they be spirits? Why not?
Yeah.
Why can't their energy do the same thing? Right?
Yeah. I know. I've had my cat rubbed. I enjoy free spirits energy. I keep seeing my cat recently died in a tragic accident. Seriously. Yeah. Again, Karen, I'm not saying it's not possible because it's definitely.
I believe it because when my dog passed away, I still can feel her, like when she's walking on the bed or and at my feet, the same place, and lay over my legs. I feel pressure sometimes in that same area where she'd lay. So I believe it.
So remember, again, if you go to NewJerseyParanormal.com, you have to spell out New Jersey Paranormal. You can't just NJ, New Jersey Paranormal.com is the entire event list for August, September, October into November with information for how to purchase ticket spaces for every single one of those events. It's all updated with the emails, like I'm going to go through another building in a minute, or phone numbers if it's different. Most of them you could just email me at newjerseyparanormal@yahoo.com, but some of them have specific instructions that are different. So newjerseyparanormal.com, you'll see ghost hunting events. You click on that tab, they're all right there. Pictures of the buildings, the address of the building, the price of the event, how to get your space. It's all right there. The time to and from. So we've talked about the Caldwell Parsonage in Union. That's coming up, I believe, October 23rd, maybe somewhere around there. I don't have my phone on me.
I got me book.
But we talked about Liberty Hall. There's going to be 2 at Liberty Hall, I think October and November. So there's tickets available.
Caldwell's the 23rd. Liberty
23rd.
Hall. You said
so,
Liberty Hall?
Yeah.
Is October 9th.
So the other one I wanted to mention to you guys is one of our favorites. And that's right there.
They're mine.
Those are the 2 big green doors that you go through to get into the Sterling Hill mine, the mine part of it. And once you're in there, it looks like that. And once you turn those lights off, it's dark. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. You hear breaths, you hear voices, you see things on the SLS. There's stuff going on. It is really, really a very, very, very cool place, and we're fortunate to be able to work with them for now a couple of years now. We're going to be doing an event there, and I know there's a couple coming up. There's definitely one that the day before Halloween is one that we're trying to line up a special guest for. That one's
going already? August?
August 28th is, there's 2 tickets left. But
August 28th has 2 tickets.
Yeah, pretty much sold out though.
Okay, and then October 30th.
So October 30th is the one, the day before Halloween. I am so looking forward to that because it'll get dark early. It's the night before Halloween. The air will be crisp. You know what I mean? It'll just have that Hallows Eve feeling to it. And being in a haunted mine, are you kidding me? I mean, that's like Christmas for me. So I'm like Jack Skellington, in that place and on that night. So that's one you definitely want to. The mine is just awesome. And again, what's the story there? I hate referring to what happened at places because we went into this last night. There's a building that we are trying to get into. I won't mention it where or who. But unfortunately, in this particular building, a little girl died by falling down the stairs or through a rails, and and it's really sad. But supposedly, according to a lot of people, her spirit is there and she's active. So we're trying to get into this place to A, investigate it, and B, see if we can bring people in there with us. It's really bizarre to have those conversations with people because for us it's like a weird kind of ambulance chaser. You know what I mean? It's we're talking about these tragic things that happen in these places, and Sterling Hill Mine is a prime example of that. They started keeping records in a certain year at the Sterling Hill Mine when it was an active mine, and prior to that, there were immigrant workers and other people working there. And if you got hurt, your arm got cut off. If you died in there, nobody wrote it down. Nobody kept a record of it. It just didn't happen. So
they don't have the laws of the labor laws like they do now.
And they just didn't record it.
No,
because they didn't have to. So then when they initiated, that you had to record these things, accidents, and it was 77 within 90 years. So imagine how many before. You know what I mean? That went unreported. So that's one of those places where, again, the miners would go in one particular building to, put their clothes on, you know, in the morning, put their helmet on, put their whatever, you know, on, and get their tools, and then they go into the mine. And then afterwards they'd go in another building and they'd shower, you know, and then they'd get into their clothes that they came in. These were all familiar buildings to them.
Yeah.
And if there are residual energy in some of them, intelligent in others, we go in all of them. And we let you guys go in multiple buildings when you come there. And believe it or not, there are different experiences in different buildings. The mine, especially, you go through the whole mine, one end to the other, you know, and then there's another building.
Working on that catwalk, man.
Yeah, the office building that I go in where weird stuff happens. And again, it's always different because it's different people. Different people get different reactions.
Yeah.
You know, women didn't work in the mine. Sometimes they don't react that great to women being in that mine, you know? So very, very cool place. I do recommend, if you're not doing anything the night before Halloween, October 30th, you take the trip to Ogdenburg, you get yourself tickets, and because it's going to be a really, we're going to be stoked because it's Halloween, and we're going to be really into being in the mine before that. So that's another really, really good one that you're going to want to think about going to. So you've got Caldwell Parsonage in October. You've got 2 at Liberty Hall, 1 in October, 1 in November. So again, these are all still available, you know, so you can go on the website and get your space, you know, your tickets.
All the September's gone?
The Baron sold out. That one I'm not going to talk about. That one I'm talking about next. Okay. You know, the other one that I want to talk about, see if I can find a picture of it. I know I had a picture of it. Did I have a picture of it? No, I don't. I love how you just stay quiet while I look for pictures.
I'm sorry. It's my brain function. You know how my brain works?
I do.
You know how it goes. And you already talked about the BP?
The what? All right, forget it. That building there. Okay? That big purple monster looking building there. That's another building that we're really fortunate to be working with. Good people run it, people that were in the paranormal field for many years. They let us come in and investigate it. We saw what we saw. We started doing events there just recently. First one was awesome. It's called Camp Evans in Wall Township. Again, I encourage you, read the article that says Camp Evans, Weir, New Jersey. They were featured in Weir, New Jersey. This place has so much going on there that is just nuts. Military, they invented military, you know, radar things and satellite things, and there were Nazi scientists there at one point working there. The KKK was there at one time. There's a Native American burial ground on the premises. This place is just
it's a plethora
full of weirdness.
Hi, Mario.
I mean, really is. So again, we had that building I'm showing you. That was the building. They said, use this building. There's a lot going on here in the basement and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, okay, cool. We can't wait to do an event here. And then we were doing the event, and Gloria, the director there, said, do you want to use the bunker building? And I'm like, what's that? She's like, let me show it to you. So we walk in, and it's
that was a bonus.
It's like a ranch style. It's flat and it's one level, but it's a big building. And I said, this is kind of cool, a lot of space. I said, anything happened here? She said, I wouldn't brought you in here if it wasn't. She goes, this is where volunteers stay when they come here, and there's bunk beds in the whole entire building. All different
rooms.
She said, people don't want to stay in here because of the shadow figures they see, and they get their leg grabbed when they're sleeping, or their covers are pulled, and they don't want to get up and go to the bathroom because the rumors about, you know, what's walking around in here. And I went in that building, and I had a ball the first time. Knock, 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 knock. The other side of the building 3 times. It was shadow figures peeking out from around corners. I was in heaven in this building, and I had a great friggin' time. So that's another place, Camp Evans. I suggest you check out the events that we're
We
doing
have
there.
September 4th and October 16th is Kemba
So
events.
near Halloween, September 4th, October 16th, another great place. If you want to come out and do something with us, definitely worth doing. These places are awesome. And again, we like cramming them into the fall and the winter because it gets dark early, you know, and it's just a creepier vibe. And everybody seems to be in that mood of just, you want to be scared and you want something to happen. You know, how much do you help loved one cross over? So the girl not being able to find her loved ones a little longer all the time. Blah, blah, blah. We don't cross anyone over, Kara. That's not something we do. If there's an issue, we go in, we counsel. That's a big part of being in the paranormal. What you see on TV, wonderful, great. Counseling the people that live there, which is what Amy Allen does, which I love about her. You have to counsel the person in the family that are going through what they're going through. You have to understand what they're going through, what they're dealing with, either the one person or the whole group of people. That's key to the whole thing first. As far as what's in the building, we come in and do what we can on our end to counsel, offer advice and guidance. Then we bring in other people that we know, mediums, you know, whichever the religious beliefs are of the person is kind of where we lean more towards, because that's what people are usually comfortable with. But we bring in people that we think could then assist with handling whatever issue is there with the spirit. And I don't think it's a matter of, you know, crossing them over to, I think that's maybe part of it, but it's also a matter of them communicating with the spirit and finding out what the issue is. Why are they doing what they're doing? What's the issue? And then figuring out how to best deal with either, you know, the spirit just decides on its own, his or her own, to just go wherever you go, or they decide, I'm just going to fade into the background and stay where I am, but not cause these people any more harm or fear because I didn't realize I was doing that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
I got to tell you, Shannon Spear Evans said, I'm excited for the mine. My granddad was a miner and died from the black lung. Well, be prepared to be used to try to instigate stuff and get some reactions if you are a descendant of a miner.
Yeah, and if we say that and explain that to them, Shannon, then again, there may be some interaction there, you know? Are you sure they don't leave any investigations or event? That's a good question, Lorraine. And I've been asked that a while, many times, and I've actually posted that as a question of the day. And I was kind of concerned about posing it because I was afraid that people were going to like, oh crap, maybe we shouldn't go to their events. When we go to a place and, you know, the threat of a quote unquote attachment, I don't really believe in attachments. And I believe even if you have one, they can't sustain. I don't think their energy allows for them to sustain. I think they need to go back to wherever they originated from. My belief. Protection. If you believe in it and you use it and you really have faith in it, it does empower you.
Well, protection is all based on
what
your beliefs are. People believe in the cross. People believe in sage. People believe in stones. People believe in prayer. So when somebody says, make sure you wear or you bring protection, it depends on what protection means to you and what your religion is and what your belief is. So, I mean, when somebody says protection, it is an open-ended thing. It's what you believe protection is.
Right. And again, I don't believe in any of that. So for me, I don't use it. I don't believe it holds no power to me. I don't believe.
I think we give.
I don't believe there's
power.
I don't believe like people believe this stone, atheist, and but I don't believe a rock is going to protect me from an unseen and energy that is doing things. I just don't. That's me. And I know Donna's the same way. We talk about this all the time. But I do believe that the power of this, in whatever you believe in, can create a barrier and protect yourself. Somebody mentioned, Kara mentioned, feels like sometimes they can feed off you. That's true. If you're vulnerable, just like a virus or something, if you're vulnerable, depression, weighed down, something happened and you're just, mental issues, medication or whatever, health, you are vulnerable to an energy, an entity that has that kind of ability. So yeah, you do have to,
Cindy,
if you believe in that, protect yourself a little more than others might.
Cindy said, is there anything you suggest people do in preparation of attending the different events that you host, such as the Mine or Creeper Gallery, the prison?
No, we were just kind of talking about that. I prefer to experience everything. And that means I go in as an open channel for whatever's going to happen.
Because that's what you're there for.
We've talked about this before. The researcher part of my brain, investigator part of my brain wants to experience anything that's going to happen and everything that's going to happen. So I don't want to bring a cross or a stone or something there that may diminish whatever that experience may be. That's me. Because you can't do what we do and not open yourself up to everything to be able to help people.
And anyone that knows us knows that I'm on the opposite side of that. I do put a block up to protect myself from certain things because that's just me. Mm. Well, I don't want to be open to every experience. I don't want the dark stuff. I don't have any curiosity with it. I've dealt enough with it and I don't need to deal with it anymore. So we respect those boundaries with each other.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm the voice of reason.
I don't say it's a bad idea to do it at all. If that's what you believe in and that's what you rely on, and if it has worked for you, then by all means, yes, do it. But for me, none of that stuff holds any weight or power for me. I would just be holding it and going, okay, this is going to stop an unseen energy from affecting me. This rock. How? It's going to see the rock and go, oh my God, a rock.
Again, that's how you feel.
It makes no sense.
But to you, it doesn't.
Okay.
To you, it doesn't. And a lot of things have not made sense to John until John's experienced it. So until he experiences it, that's going to be his take on stuff. But I do believe that these things I believe we give those things power.
That's a good.
What?
Okay. Laura, the mine. If you come to the mine, yes, please. The mine itself is 56 degrees all year round. Whether it's 100 degrees outside or -10, the mine is 56 degrees.
You're in a mine.
It's a mine. The ground's going to be damp. Sometimes a little water is going to drip from the ceiling.
Yep.
It's a mine.
So
don't wear good shoes. Don't wear a dress. Wear something that, you're going to a mine.
Bring extra underpants, Vicky.
That too, Vicky. Extra underwear is always a good thing, or a diaper. Whichever.
Oh, Vicky. Actually, somebody wished they had brought a pair once. That's funny.
But, those are the events that I wanted to bring up that we're doing that are coming up, and they're coming up quick because, God, these days are clicking by. The other thing that we're doing that we mentioned a bunch of times, the Battlefield Bash in Gettysburg, August 20th through the 22nd. We were, fortunate enough to be kind of one of the headliners on there, our pictures. So us two, Tiny and Kenny, will all be there that entire weekend, hanging out with all the people that are there at our, at our table. The entire weekend we'll be out and about on the town, just looking to have a good time and get away from all the crap that life has to offer. So we're really looking forward to that. Another thing, so that's August 20th through the 22nd. So if you don't have any plans that weekend, come out to Gettysburg, have a good time with a lot of good people because they'll be out there, all of them.
We're going to have a good time.
We're going to have a great time. It's going to be awesome. And it's Gettysburg.
Did you bring up the prison?
Enough said. The prison, yes.
Oh, you talked about it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to carry it for a half hour. So,
you can
normally I carry it for 55 minutes.
Somehow I just don't doubt that.
The other thing I wanted to mention is we are 3 days away from filming with a national paranormal television show.
Okay, now I got to cover his mouth.
I am so very excited about this.
You excited?
I'm like Borat. I'm very excited. I cannot wait to do this. I mean, it's beyond. We've almost got on a couple of shows, and I won't mention those either. But things happened at the last minute, and it didn't come through. And this one, I know we're getting close, and I'm getting more nervous by the day. But we've actually got the filming schedule We're actually being told what to wear. I mean, this is, you know, it's happening. So Monday we're filming. Wednesday we're filming. Thursday we're filming. And I cannot wait to do it because I'm dying to see behind the curtain. I mean, I know what we do behind the curtain, you know.
Don't tell them.
Where's my drum snare? I'm sorry. But I'm really curious to see what production is like. You know, do they do things over? Do they? And I can't tell any of that, even if I see it, of course, eventually. But 2-3 years, I'm talking on the road. But I'm hoping they let me take pictures. I'm hoping they let us, you know, do things that I could show on a later date. But very, 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 very excited. Very excited because these are really cool people. Really cool people. And I'm, you know, really interested to see what they come up with on their own at, you know, one of these places that we've been before. So that's Monday, and I will do a report. It will be very vague and general, but
so Carol wants to know, does anything scare you?
I won't say no because that's foolish to say that. I've walked around buildings myself in the dark and been scared, for sure. And I do that.
Caldwell.
No. I mean, I do that on purpose because I want to see what's going to happen. You know, there was 2 buildings. I won't mention 3 actually, that I did that on purpose, and literally the only thing I can equate it to, and we were talking about this the other day. When I was a kid, I lived on a first floor apartment. I lived in apartments my whole life, pretty much. And this particular apartment, when you would go out the back door, the basement door was right there to your right. And the basement door had a padlock on it. And, you know, you would, you know, but the windows were kind of outside in the alleyway. And sometimes like somebody would break them, and some would get drunk or partying, and kids would go by there. And, you know, so when you would go down the stairs into the basement, there wasn't a light switch. This was an old house. We were poor. I was a poor boy when I was a kid. And
still is.
Boy, they're rolling tonight, aren't we? You want to do 10 minutes? I'll walk away. You can just do your act and your entire act. I would go ahead. You do, and I'll tell the jokes. Let's try that. So you go down the stairs, and there's no light switch. You had to literally walk 5 feet and do the pull string for the light to come on in the basement. And those were the scariest moments of your life until that light, because you wait for something to grab you. And that's what I equate walking around a building, a haunted building, in the dark by yourself, when you really can't, just the light of the flashlight. There are times where I'll do that, and I'll find myself a corner, and I'll turn the light off, the flashlight, and I'll stand there in pitch black.
And a lot of time you lose the flashlight and you're in the pitch dark and you have to find your way.
Just breathing, and I'm waiting, and I talk out loud. I'm here. I'm in the dark. And you just wait. It's scary in a sense because you don't know what could happen. But I like opening myself up for that sort of thing, you know? So that kind of thing scares me. Even though I like to do it, it scares me. Worst time ever attending any kind of... Is there anything that people do in general prepare for first in-person event besides wear weather appropriate clothing? Is there anything No. Here's the thing. Our events are... I mean, if you're an experienced investigator and you want to come and, you know, join us and go with us to different parts of the building and you know, investigate with us, you know, of course, come, have a good time.
Yeah.
But our events are designed for people like you, Cindy, who, you know, really don't have equipment or don't do this or don't ever go on these things and watch us the TV shows. Maybe we kind of educate you on what the equipment does, some of the theories, behind paranormal investigation. And then you go with each one of us that you watch, me,
Yeah.
Tanya, Chris, Kenny, and you do different things in different buildings with different equipment just to see. I mean, and that's what, and if you got weirded out or if you got scared or if you thought you were being affected, no shame in saying, I need to step out. I need to reground myself, go outside, reground myself. Okay, I'm good. Come back in or just tap out. There's no shame in any of that, ever, you know? Hate those cricket spiders. I don't like cricket spiders either, man. I hate all kinds of bugs. The best
and bats. You don't like bats either.
New Jersey Palmer upcoming TV. Thank you, Mario. Mario's a good guy, man. I like Mario.
I had a good time talking to Mario and his wife and daughter.
The SLS camera is heavy. So at an event, if you're with me, I ask someone, can you hold this? It's going to get heavy. And I tell them, it's going to get heavy after a while. You're mapping, you're looking for stick figures or whatever. Mario was a good guy. Mario held it the whole entire time and, never complained about it. Went in a room with headphones on, the blindfold when I told him to. Mario was easy. He just, Mario, go in there and do that. And he just did it. And he loved it because he's like me. He wanted the experience. He watches the shows. He saw people do it and bam, he went right. And that's what I like.
Yeah.
I like when people have that attitude of let's go. Why are you here? Get involved. Do it. That's what we love. Do it. And then when it happens for you or to you, that's when you get that look of, holy shit, did that really, it's like when you watch us, what the hell? What was that? Did you hear that voice? I mean, it's there in front of you. There's no denying it, But I do, again, New Jersey Paranormal .com. You have to spell New Jersey Paranormal.com. Look at the entire event list because once they're gone, they're gone. I mean, we're going to do events probably into December, and we're planning another one, believe it or not, that we're trying to work out the details on. It'll probably be a Friday night event, but it will be like no event that you've been to before. This I can guarantee. Not because it's spooky, scary, weird, whatever, just the theme and the structure of the event will be unlike nothing you've done before. And it's perfect for Halloween season. Okay? Other than that, New Jersey Power Unity Expo. We are 2 months away. Come to Jersey. It's going to be big. Going to be tremendous. Huge. All the celebrities from TV, Ghost Nation, Kindred Spirits, Holzer Files, Tennessee Wraith Chaser guys, Paranormal Caught on Camera, the Weird New Jersey guys that we love. Newkirk's will be there with their haunted traveling museum. We have an exhibit room for all the crypto people that love the Bigfoot and the werewolves and whatever the heck else is out there that people think is out there. We got another room where people are demonstrating, radio communication with spirits, different shortwave radios, and cool. It's called Dead Air Experience, which is very, very cool. Free lectures with all the celebrities, great thing. And for $20, people keep asking us. This event is a Saturday, September 25th, from 11 to 6. And for $20, you can meet as many of those celebrities as you want. You stand on the line, you can meet them. There's no extra charge. If you want an autograph, yeah, they're going to charge you.
That's at their discretion.
For a sign.
That's at their
They charge you for that. That's not us. But if you want to, I think they'll take a selfie with you. I don't think they'll charge you for if you want one on your phone. I really don't think they charge you for that.
Most don't.
But it's a great, great day. And this one is going to be the biggest one ever. Did I say ever? I said ever. And we're going to keep adding to it. There's one more thing that we may be announcing, a special thing that may add a little more whipped cream and chocolate syrup to the great Sunday that is the Paranormal Power Unity Expo.
Cherry on top.
Yes. So that's another thing you might want to attend because we'll be there and everybody else will be there. It's going to be packed and it's going to be awesome. And you're going to meet, just like you guys, when you come to our open house or our events and you meet the other people that you see here and you make that connection, you know that person, you're going to meet people from all over the country that are like that. and cool people, nice people that share all of the same interests that we all do.
And Tanya's actually going to have a table, Tombstone. So anyone that hasn't been able to see her stuff firsthand will be able to go to her table and see her amazing work and her bags and stuff. I mean, they're just phenomenal. I know she's been working like
Kara,
crazy.
Madam Adam's going to be there.
Yes.
Again, we not only took the TV part of the paranormal to make sure everyone can meet them for $20. We also included our world, if you want to call it that. Jane Doherty, Judy Kay, Connie Ellick, Megan Kennedy, who else? Who am I missing?
Judy,
Jefferson Harmon, the dream interpreter. Madam Adam is going to be doing tarot
palm
reading.
reader.
So, I mean, you're going to see these people too there as well,
Jennifer
along with
Wood.
all of these celebrities. So it's going to be really, really, really cool. So set the date, September 25th, to come to Jersey and hang out with all of us. But before that, come to Gettysburg with us too. August 20th through the 22nd. Where is it? It's in Woodbridge, New Jersey, Kara. It's called the New Jersey Para-Unity Expo. Para-Unity is one word. Paraunity. Para-Unity.
And it's on September 25th.
September 25th. So, but again, if you come to Gettysburg too, you'll have a great weekend. Great weekend. We're so lucky. That's coming up, and it's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most because I love Gettysburg. I'm great friends with Pam and Steve. We both are. They're the ones running the event, and there's so many people in town from the paranormal world that we know and that you guys would like to meet, and it's a good thing to do. So make plans from now to December. You're with us.
To get back into the land of the living.
You're all with
so
us.
to speak.
We're together. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. I'm semi-considering the Creeper Gallery soon. Maybe tomorrow.
Really?
Soon? No. Really? Soon. Okay, we'll just say soon.
Okay.
Because somebody does. Maybe I'll do it myself. I had a good time myself the last time.
He did.
That'd be
But
cool.
again, I've got some I've got some stuff coming up. I got a procedure coming up.
She's got health
I've got
issues, so
we
got a shelf.
kind of have
We've
to
got
be
a shelf
careful
Chris
right
for a
now.
while.
Just for a little bit.
So maybe there'll be a pop-up investigation with Just John.
So it's not that
tomorrow.
I don't want to. It's just that
Maybe.
I can't right now.
Stay tuned here. Check it out around 8:39, 8 o'clock maybe. Maybe earlier.
Tea stuff.
Maybe. All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Good night, everybody. Stay well. Be kind.